Hello and welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier, broadcasting from the center of your entertainment galaxy. And I'd like to welcome you to our latest session of Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword. Currently, we are on part 4 of the episode lo'laHbe, pagh, nguvwI.
Bless you.
Indeed, which roughly translates to nothing easy is worthwhile. Oh, wait, strike that, reverse it. Nothing worthwhile is easy. Before we get started, I just had a few things to note. Um, First and foremost, our Mr. Azek Korg, Joe, will not be able to join us tonight, unfortunately. Outside circumstances at the time of recording have prevented him from being able to get online and join us tonight. We hope everything is safe with him and wishing everything well. I'll also go ahead for those in the archive, you'll see it in the description of the video below. For those in chat, provided Stream Elements works, you can check out his Twitch channel, or I'll give the shout out to him at Overland Gamer. Check out twitch.tv/Overland Gamer. Also, the Overland Gamer podcast on your platform of choice. Generally, week to week, they promote different sort of tabletop games of different sorts, board games, role play games. They've even covered Star Trek Adventures from time to time. But they also do some traveling to visit different game shops around the country, so it's very cool. I definitely recommend it. I would also check out the Lords and Ladies of Fate. They do tabletop streams throughout the week, and they are just a fun bunch. I will say that I, in particular, have been getting a lot of fun Saturdays at I think around 6:30, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a little something they do called Cookie Trek. The general idea being that they basically break a Star Trek script, or they use the Star Trek Adventures engine and a few random prompts in order to basically put together an episode. It's Simon and Rufus on from that crew that host that, and I've been dropping in, and uh, it's been a fun exercise to work off some surplus ideas or just run the exercise. Anyway, they'll be in the description here. So, with all of that, I just want to start off with one other very special note here. For those of you catching us live, today, as this airs, is just about 1 year ago when we started the Broken Sword campaign. It was the 25th of May last year, and well, this is as close as we can do for our usual Wednesday stream. But we, yeah, got to this with the Broken Sword campaign. We had a couple false starts to get our crew of rogues out into space, but they hit the ground running, and the ground hit them back pretty hard. In all seriousness, it's been a glorious year with several of my favorite moments of player interaction and role play that I've had the pleasure to watch and games to run as a GM. Well, we've had a few outside circumstances that are messing with some of our consistency right now. We've made it through most of our first season. There's still a bit more story to tell with it, but these next few episodes we will be wrapping up that first season, and we'll likely schedule a get together as a basically behind the scenes chat, kind of just a chance to chat among the players and the GM, and a chance for you to bring your own questions. We'll have a Q&A sort of thing. Um, in any case, before we do that, though, I wanted to thank all of you for your support, whether watching live or in the archive, for any bits and subscriptions, for generally boosting the show. It definitely helped us get to affiliate on Twitch back in February, which was a just massive milestone. It in many ways exceeded my expectations, but more importantly, it's just been extremely fulfilling, extremely gratifying to be able to tell a story with such a great bunch of players and to have uh, people like you coming by and actually watching it, giving it the time of day. So I very much appreciate it and thank you. And at this moment, um, certainly to our one absent player who will just have to hear me gush in the archive. But for all of you here now, thank you guys so much for coming here this week, bringing your characters and your rich stories to life. I'm lucky to have you all here for every character beat, every harebrained scheme, every earnest monologue, and every goof that you guys stumble into that just broke up the session in delightful ways. I'm really happy to have all of you here.
Dude, you're gonna make me cry.
Yeah. Well, you deserve it.
Ah, I thought it was kind of funny that you said I brought my character to life.
Oh yes, the one person who well, you can bring your character again next episode. How's that sound?
I'll take it.
That's a promise. We'll make it happen. All right. Well, that is enough of the GM going on about that and self-congratulating. So, to the viewers at home and to our audience, I shall simply say, kapla. And let's get to it. So, when last we left off, the crew of the Yon was in quite a difficult situation, and most of them didn't even realize it yet. They had been stopped previously by the Imperial battlecruiser, the Chikros. It is commonly known to those inside and outside the Empire as a D6 class battlecruiser, the pride of the Imperial fleet in this day, also referred to as the Korok class. Um, this battlecruiser had intercepted the Yon when they were on their way to investigate a desert colony where an outpost had broadcasted a distress signal. Unfortunately for the Yon, that was where they had come from, and they were very much a party to why that outpost no longer exists. You had taken steps to hide your involvement there, and thankfully they were not able to tie that incident to you. However, the Klingon commander, Ba'ona, decided that the Yon had a number of other problems and that you needed to pay a hefty sum either with parts or with Darsex or just other surplus. They were even looking to take the crew. Um, and so that all posed a massive problem to you, which Tabak answered in the most logical of Klingon ways. Insult his
I
honor.
shot him in the face.
Yep, violence. After shooting the Klingon commander in the face, you pulled in the doctor, Cressek, in order to try and help you figure out a next move. There certainly wasn't much left in the late Klingon commander's skull to salvage or do anything meaningful. So, as a result, you enacted a careful set of schemes through intership text messaging to find ways to beam them off, warn people that things were about to go poorly, and otherwise try to neutralize them before their superior numbers and equipment could be brought to bear on you. This actually mostly succeeded, although the Klingons did try to act before you were completely set. However, you managed to beam most of them out into space. You incapacitated many of them with basically the whatever equivalent of knockout gas you have on the ship, alongside woe. So that was a non-lethal injury that I'm sure was made lethal later, just in case. And after all of that, the Yon very quickly warped off and made their escape. All at the just for the loss of an unconscious Kzinti and a barrel full of Tholian silk.
Oh, yeah.
My silk.
That was such a shame.
Poor Silk.
My silk.
Yes. So the Yon, with little other choice than to try to pick the ground for the next engagement or possibly stealthily get past the Chikros, moved to the Cho'SuS Nebula, a fair-sized nebula which is prominent enough to confer the sector its name. It is presently in there that you are hiding and attempting to devise your next stratagem. So with that, let us connect back with the crew here. For anyone that needs it, you are welcome to pose questions, bonus points if it's in character, Not that I know exactly how bonus points would filter in this case. Maybe it's I let you keep the momentum, and we can uh, retain we can exposit for the audience who, for the stream, hasn't been here in a minute, while also continuing the pace here. Presently, we are on the bridge. Tabak, you have Vopri at Sciences, Azek at the helm, who will temporarily be NPC'd, and Bahan, I believe, still played by Cheesy tonight, with his main character still out of commission.
Yeah. I had reminding myself. We'd had to turn off the shields because they were overloading because of all the particulate matter in the nebula. So shields are off.
I don't
We're adrift. Yeah, you said we had to turn off the shields. They were heating up, and it would have left a very large sensor signature.
Yes, okay, I remember. It was the shields are attracting something of a static discharge right now in the nebula. So you could theoretically raise them, but what that's going to do is that it would attract a basically, it serves as a bit of a lightning rod to the ship, so you are going to attract a lot of ambient energy, and it would make you easier to track in the nebula.
Right. So we are currently adrift in the nebula, whether there are currents or not, because we just plowed in, shut the engines off, shut the shields off, and just let momentum continue to carry us. We had dumped warp plasma to force the other ship out of warp to give us some breathing room. And now I've been talking to my weapons officers and engineers. I want torpedoes wired to function as mines. I want to leave them little presents to find when they come in looking for us. If they too end up having to turn off their shields, we may do actual real damage. I also have another plan.
Should I call up Mr. Raldar and see if Woe has been revived?
Yes, do that, please.
Okay.
Please. I'm that he wouldn't say please. I do because I'm a freaking courteous human.
Yeah.
But Balak would not say please. He would probably say something along the lines of proceed.
Execute.
Yes.
No. I don't use that word.
You used it earlier against the commander.
Oh.
Execute.
It's the that's when you risk the take care of him or take care of him.
Different.
Hand
right.
going across the throat.
Technically, I didn't use the word execute. I simply used the word frame.
Indeed. I will, as a matter of just sparing everyone on the narrative, I will allow for Cressek to have revived Woe during this time, and the with an opportunity for the audio to be broadcast. If you want a brief scene, we can do that. Otherwise, I would be perfectly happy just having Woe and Cressek if he would like to walk in. Likewise, Raldar, if you want to physically being in on the scene, that's an option too. Though I know you're down in engineering, also working up the trying to restore the ship's power too.
Yeah, I'm happy to stay in my pit where I belong.
Come on, buddy, get out of that pit. Look.
It's a true meeting. I have to go now.
Don't you tempt.
Come on, Team Giant, let's go walk in there.
You tempt Raldar with Walksies, and he's all over it.
Walksies.
Walksies.
Yep. Yeah. Soon enough, that's what you'll be taking Junior on.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's gone on a walk.
Yeah, that's going to become a euphemism later, I'm sure.
Oh yes.
Right along this, I almost along the same lines as I'll be in my bunk, but definitely not along those same lines. Never mind.
How dare you even bring that filth into here?
Oh dear. Let's see. Just innocently noted, you have 500 quatlus for. Oh, you got 500 quatlus from that donation, Craig. How interesting. That puts you a good way towards being able to spend quatlus and affect the outcomes of this game in different ways, such
Don't
as
remind them.
distributing momentum or threat. Um,
They've
being able
never
to
used it for a good reason. Don't.
creating advantages or complications, or even affecting the difficulty of their very next dice roll. How interesting. And yes, we are only a few episodes from the season finale, much like we are with Star Trek Adventures Aegis, airing Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I must shill, and Stream Elements is down. Anyway,
You had to remind them.
amidst all that, Cressek, do you want to also join in for this meeting here, given that the captain seems to have worked you guys into an interesting situation?
Only if I'm summoned. If I'm not summoned, I'm not
You're
going.
summoned.
Fine.
Yeah, man,
To be
Then
fair,
he's going.
it's probably more like not like kicking the door on sick bay, opening it, and then saying, "Hey, get in. We're crashing the captain's meeting."
Yeah. Yep. Then he just
Get in,
sighs.
losers. We're gonna go beg the captain.
He sighs, stands up, and lumbers on out.
Yep. So that being the case, the door to the bridge opens and the three tallest, bulkiest, proper members of your crew come in. The two 8-foot tall Goran officers, one your doctor and the other your chief engineer, and behind them the, if drawn to her full height, 9-foot tall Kazinti, who is proven and a rather adept weapons officer, if perhaps one of the stranger ones.
Adept. Oh my god. She bit into a can and passed out. You lost game.
She has her moments.
You accomplished your mission. There was a side effect.
Did
Yes,
I?
you still accomplished.
Yes,
the
yes.
Yep.
Uh,
So I'll have Azek turn around and look from his station since he's not having to drive at the moment. Ah, looks like the gang's all together again, save for the guy we have in cold storage.
yeah, old Popsicle. We'll bust him out someday. How's it going up here? She kind of nudges the captain.
I need you and Raldar to work together and convert a bunch of torpedoes into mines.
I see.
Okay. Are we gonna equip them with any kind of energy pulsars to attract the enemy captain?
That's an idea.
Fake
That might
IFF.
work. That might work. If we can duplicate the pulses that our shields put out from being in this nebula, I don't think we have any small shield generators, but some form of electronics or something we can do with the guidance systems. We could use the guidance systems and the thruster systems in the torpedoes themselves.
What about
Because all we're going to do is use them with proximity fuses.
what about the pods? Stasis fields, energy fields, not too different, right?
Almost any energy field we can put on them will attract will be detectable on their sensors. Don't rig them all to have the same sensor output.
Can we rig one with some kind of propulsion? That way, it looks like it's moving at all times.
That'll be good too.
They
if
might
we
follow
have,
that one.
if we have the time for that. I also want at least 6 torpedoes stuck together in pairs. I want a couple of really big booms.
I see.
Vote Pry, how many torpedoes do we have left? I say the weapons officer. I don't give a shit.
We have a couple of dozen.
He'll enter some information. It seems Well, we we only have about 24 photon torpedoes left.
Keep 2. Use the rest. Get
No,
one of
I
them.
get him.
Yeah. Okay. Get
I was
one of them.
agreeing. I said, aye.
I want one of them. You take everything out of it except the warhead and the detonator, and rig it to go off from a transmitter, and put that one in the transporter.
I see.
If I have the
Clever.
opportunity to simply transport a photon torpedo into the middle of their ship, I'm
Are
going to take it.
are we sure we want to transport an explosive again, Captain?
Well, we have a good record with it so far.
90% success rate.
And there's no
90%.
space station out there.
90% of the time, it works 100% of the time, and I'm good for that.
Fine. I can create false life signs to add to these mines.
I'm not sure if we have to go that far yet. The
Yeah.
nebula itself is messing with sensors.
If we're gonna put them in clusters anyway, we could rig one up so that when they set up the proximity, it heads right for their ship.
If you can do all of that, do all of that. At the least, I want. Okay, we have 24 mines or 24 torpedoes. I want one to kept for a launch. 2, a second one in the transporter room. The rest of them is mines, with 6 of them tied together in pairs. Anything else you can do above and beyond all of that, do that. But I want that as bare minimum. I will leave the rest to your own creativity.
She looks to Radar. You think?
He cut out.
Who did?
Whoa.
Whoa, did. You
Oh.
think?
Your mic
Whoa.
working there?
Whoa, you're mine!
Whoa, we lost you again.
Woe is our mic.
Woe is our mic. Oh, God.
Woe is us.
We do not hear you now.
No, we don't hear you.
Hello?
Okay, there you are.
We heard you.
Stay out there!
There you are.
You live.
So fucking sad.
You live.
I'm alive.
You are
am
alive.
Wait, what was that?
That was
You were
very.
saying something before you cut out.
Do you think we have time?
There you go.
Go ahead there, Woe.
I say, do we have time for all this?
Well-
They're gonna have to come searching for us. Go
Well,
as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
As
they
you
have to
complete each one, just drop it out the ship. You just drop it down the elevator.
There's also the fact that this is an we're talking about an Imperial ship here, and we just killed at least two or more of their commanding officers. They're probably infighting at the moment.
There may be.
We don't know how long.
And we don't know how long it's going to take them to clean the muck out of their warp drive. So get going on this now.
Speaking of infighting, they now have a difficulty 3 roll, which they must succeed at in order to minimize the block of time you have available to work on this task.
Well, yeah, don't let us see that die roll.
Now that
I don't
went
want
bad.
to know.
Didn't go well. There have been better rolls. So, well, in any case, sure, whenever they should arrive here, if their shields are up, that will probably be the best way to see them. That, and if I must admit, I am uncertain as to other precise signs of detecting the vessel out here. The Nebula seems to qualify as a class 2 level. Um, Thus, it will make both primary sensors and targeting sensors function less optimally. If I may meta speak, we will be dealing with a +2 difficulty on both tasks.
Understood.
Yeah. To clarify, that is a +2 difficulty to any task involving sensors or weapons. But let's see. That being said, Vopri basically doesn't have anything particularly special to astronavigation or anything of that sort as to give you insights on how to contend with this.
Well, he knows better than I do. Well, he knows better than my character does. So let him figure it out, and Vopri, just keep as sharp an eye out as you possibly can.
Okay. So you have the crew set to start producing landmines, or at least it looks like Woe and Raldar will be setting to that task here. Was there anything else that anybody out of the group wanted to say? You know, anything from the other players in scene?
Anyone?
Yep.
Anyone?
Well, seeing none, I think that we will go ahead and set about some scenes here. So I think that the first sequence here we would be wanting to deal with. We would want to get a start on the extended task. So you do have some increments of time in order to modify these torpedoes, as you've been tasked with the captain. What I'm going to say for this is that we will be running an extended task on this. So you will have to achieve a certain number of breakthroughs and complete a work track in order to have the maximum number of torpedoes. Since the captain is going a bit further than I was expecting, I have made the maximum of the work track a bit longer. However, what was the thought there? Let's see. This will be, I think, the maximum on the work track will actually be 24. I have also set the task will start as a difficulty 3 task, so that will be a magnitude of 3 as well. And there will be a single resistance to any work that you do. So just as a reminder for anybody who hasn't done an extended task in a hot minute, basically you will at every attempt you're going to make a basic task roll. I think in this case control and either engineering or security comes into play. And each time that you roll, if you beat the success, then, or rather, you beat the difficulty of the task, you succeed, then you can basically roll challenge dice that will allow you to put points on that work track. Almost, think of it as a Klingon would. You are doing battle with the work track. The succeeding at that task succeeds at the combat, and the challenge dice you roll is the stress you inflict upon the track. So that is that'll kind of cover that, and basically at different thresholds you will have a certain number of torpedoes ready. So does that sound fairly clear as far as that goes?
More or less, yes.
All right. Well, if need be, I will of course clarify as we get there. Other than that, I know there was at least one other scene that was plotted out for tonight and that we were talking about. So what I think we'll do is that we'll probably go beat on the work track, run any interaction that you want to have, maybe get in like 2 rolls and then or at least 1 roll, maybe 2, in order to work that out, and then between that we will allow for scenes to pass, or we'll allow other scenes to happen concurrently. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right. On that note,
Okey-dokey.
does anyone else want to volunteer a scene of some sort? Or request one, rather?
Tabak will probably just be pacing on the bridge.
Okay.
And if anybody has any questions, engineering wise, he would answer them.
Copy
It's about
that.
all I can think of I would be doing.
Yeah. Let's see. I know, of course,
Uh,
Cressek, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say, so Kirker would have to be called regarding that transporter request.
Yeah.
Yes, he would. We could make that one of the scenes if you would so wish.
Yeah, that if that could be an in-between scene at some point, that would be cool.
Absolutely, definitely. All right, so we've got that. We've got one scene specifically with Cressek that'll come up here in a bit. And then anyone else have anything that they wanted to do? Uh, Anything in particular that you wanted there, Cheesy, since we still don't quite have Traven yet, but opportunity to do things.
Honestly, I think Bahan's just worryingly watching the captain pace and waiting for him to tell him to do something.
Copy that. Okay, well we can definitely make that work. Uh, so I guess for now we'll follow back up with you in a bit and let that work. But for now, let's go up to the bridge. Or not the bridge, rather. We're going to go into the theater of the mind for this, because we do not have a torpedo bay set on this ship. The GM can only be expected to prepare for so much here. So we will place you guys up there, and excuse me. Yeah. So Woe, Raldar, the two of you make it around the ship, ducking and diving under the, well, not quite diving, but certainly ducking under the various low bulkheads. This is a practice, Raldar, you especially are used to. After so many years in service of the Empire, uh, that would be that would almost be a second nature to you. Whoa, this may still occasionally be something strange.
Oh, she's absolutely hit her head like 3 times at the time it took her to go. Yeah.
Your instincts will develop eventually.
Um, but anyway, the uh, both of you, after some low shambling around the corridors, find your way towards a workable area for in order to take care of stuff on the torpedo end. I think probably It's most likely that you've gone up to very nearly the top deck, the gun deck in particular, which has parts of the impulse and like rear-mounted disruptors and torpedoes. That'd be the most logical place for you to start dropping those weapons. Uh, and of course, it is where the bulk of or a good number at least, of the photon torpedoes are. There might need to be some rolling around from the forward magazines in order to get those up as well. But yeah, you start setting to work with your kit. I imagine, Raldar, you've got a kit on hand, and yeah, we'll set to this. So just as we're setting the scene here, getting everything set to actually roll the task, would there be any words the two of you wish to exchange?
Yeah. So as she's gathering materials and sits down next to Raldar, she says, "So regarding the captain's request, how many of these do you think they're going to trip on before they stop following them?"
Three if whoever takes command is really dumb.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. She pinches the bridge of her nose really quick. She says, "Do you think we should double up on the amount of torpedoes? That way, at least on the second one, we're bound to unleash that way. If they happen upon that one second, it'll have more an impact. Or do you think we should double up on the first one? Because the likelihood of their shields going up after that is very high."
Yeah, I think we need to make the first one count most.
Alright, so we do four
That's it.
torpedoes.
I think that'll be good.
Alright.
Hopefully it'll be enough to scare them off.
You think this is the one we should make look like it's a moving target, or is this one we should a sitting duck situation?
We gotta let them think we're still running.
Okay. So, some kind of propulsion unit, I think. Very slow propulsion unit.
Yep. I will say, whoa, as you start opening up some of the torpedoes, you do notice the torpedoes have basically, memory serves, there is one unit that is like a warp sustainment unit. It's meant to have the design is meant to basically stay at warp. However, there's also an exhaust system on the torpedoes that allow for basically corrections on the trajectory. So you could, since the torpedo is not engaging the warp drive necessarily, you could rig it for basically an exhaust release that might propel it into close enough range.
Hmm.
And I'd say that
I
just
think
comes
we're
as
gonna
part
go
of
ahead
it.
and do that.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
So let's go ahead and set up that first roll then. As I said, because this this task, the extended task is a magnitude of 3. That means that the first difficulty you are going to be rolling for this task is 3. So it will either require control and engineering or control and security to do that. I will let you decide who leads and who assists.
Raldar, what's your security?
4.
Alright, so is mine. What's your control?
11.
Oh, that's so much better. What's your engineering?
4.
Oh, you're in charge.
I figured Woe would be helping because she's the weapons officer, but
This
maybe
is
I was wrong,
true,
and she's
but
just
I
the
wanted
one
to
who
see.
knows how to shoot rather than how the bullets work.
I literally will kill you. It won't be hard. You have 1 security. Let's see, but go ahead and lead, Raldar. What am I
And-
rolling? I guess
Oh.
I'll roll security and control.
Yep. control and security. For you, that would be an assist, so just a single d20. Raldar, you get 2 dice, unless you elect to spend any momentum on this. Which
I think we got.
Yeah, well, let's see. So I see
Would you
Ray's
like to?
roller.
I mean, we got plenty. It might be worth to toss one down, and we
Yep.
probably.
You want me to drop 2? One for the fact that it's a news session, and one for the spend.
I like the notion, certainly. I was
Because technically you're supposed to drop one every scene, and we don't really follow that.
Yeah,
so I feel like
the
it's only
GM
fair that we at least drop it.
Yeah, the GM is notoriously bad about that, and I do try to at least drop one between sessions. I was with a little more expo speak, I might have let you keep it, but this time not so much.
Ooh.
Anyway, all of that said, let's find the rolls there. That would be
when we roll well, when we're building bombs.
yes. That would be
That
4
is-
successes from Raldar, plus an additional success from Woe. That means that you have a total of 5 successes on the board. So very nicely done there. Raldar, having taken the lead on that, you may take 2 challenge dice plus your discipline, and then you may go ahead and roll that. So that should be a total of 6.
All right. Ooh.
Well, before anything else, Rev, go ahead and draw back those 2 momentum, because I was waiting to see if I was waiting basically to see if he wanted to spend anything to re-roll, but when you roll, geez, that's 4 2s plus 2 effects. That is nothing to sneeze at there for sure. As a matter of fact, I think that I am going to reward that level of success with some effects here. Raldar, as you start rigging up the torpedoes in different ways, a good bit of your combat training starts coming back to you. You remember there were many times where in those later battles when parts were in short supply, systems were failing left and right, and Klingon warriors needed to rely even more so on guile than they did counting on the superiority of their ships to hold off the more numerous Starfleet vessels. You had to engage a number of quick fixes, improvised moves, and other methods that under normal circumstances you wouldn't have had to consider, but desperation inspired quite a degree of innovation. You are not stuck in as you are somehow feeling less pressured, even though time is not with you, and you are just able to very methodically work with Woe, coordinate on the modifications that need to be made to the guidance systems to function as minds and to have that propulsive effect. That is going to, I think, confer on you the triumphant effect. So, let's see. That will... Actually, no. I won't set it to triumphant, but I will give you progression. So, how this works basically is you scored... well, since you have effects there, the progression effect allows you to make an additional work for every effect rolled. So that will come out to a total of 10 work on the work track. So that will put it to 10 out of 24. That is also enough to constitute a breakthrough in the task, which means that the next task will be reduced in difficulty. And yeah, you are getting started with some very effective work on building up these torpedoes. So I'm just going to make notes of this in the chat. That is to say, the Roll20 chat, so everyone will be able to see that, and just a means of helping everyone keep track of where we are.
Nice.
Let us see. Nonetheless, that is going to take you some time in order to accomplish that, so we will use up, I think, 2 increments of time. That would constitute an interval, which, when it comes to extended tasks, that is basically intended to reflect that some time is happening here. And this is, even with your efficiency, some tedious work, or at least longer work. You want to be careful when you're working with antimatter anything.
True.
Yes. So I think real quick of looking over the scenes here. If you don't mind there, Rev, I think we'll do the bridge scene with so that Tabak and Croker can coordinate here, and then we will go back
Sounds
to
good.
that. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for Cheesy to respond to my message anyways.
Yes, Cheesy. Check out the Discord. We had a plan for this scene already, and Rev had a very interesting idea here. The last minute strikes of brilliance that I have come to expect from my players.
Oh, it's private message. Okay, I see where I'm confused.
Yep. But while you are figuring that out, we'll say that the one player you are currently representing, Bahan, remains that nervous wreck, and indeed some of that energy remains on the bridge as you are waiting to see how successful the rest of your crew will be enacting the plan and preparing an adequate minefield in time. Uh, this is I'm sure this is of some difficulty for you as well, Tabak, as you are resting quite a bit on quite a bit of a gamble here, all out in the nebula. Um,
That's putting it mildly.
yep. But of course, perhaps the most immediate inconvenience is the realization that for part of your plan to go off without a hitch, you are going to need to consult and coordinate with your transporter officer, who I think this would be the perfect time to allow Croker in on the scene. So, Croker, you are fresh off several transporter-related murders, and you also had an interesting experience observing some knife play earlier. That had to have.
Don't say that. don't say that.
Now we know Croker has a thing for knife plate.
Shut up! You're gonna have to edit this.
Wow.
Knife fans
Oh,
jokes.
why?
Knife fans jokes. What can I say?
Oh, shit.
Well, let it be
Croker
known,
walks in.
I never marked this as being made for kids on YouTube. None of
That's
my.
good.
yeah.
That's good.
No,
That's
there's that.
good.
Yeah.
Captain, I heard there was need of my services yet again.
Yes. Assuming everything goes well, I'm going to need you on probably the cargo transporter.
What's new?
What's new is we're going to transport a photon torpedo onto the enemy ship if the occasion arises.
Okay. And this is different from our previous days. How?
Not
Crooker
very.
is visibly kind of agitated at you.
Okay, Tabak really doesn't care at the moment. He has other things on his mind. He is ignoring that. Even if he notices it, he's not even,
I think it should be slightly disconcerting that Croker is anywhere approaching normal Klingon demeanor in this situation.
Maybe. I would agree normally, but Tabak is extraordinarily stressed at the moment.
Indeed.
So he'll worry about the surprising fact that Croker is behaving normally later. Assuming that, A, we survive, B, he thinks about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to need your best effort to make sure that it ends up on their ship. Again, only if the bomb is prepared in time and if the opportunity arises. You're going to have
Croker
to
looks slightly like he was slapped in the face as you were talking, but you continue talking. Sorry.
coordinate with Vopri to find the most delicate place to stick the knife.
His cheeks redden slightly. I don't know what actual color their blood is. I don't remember, and do I care? Not really.
Pink.
So
It's pink. It's a manly pink.
it's a manly pink. It's
turns
lightish red.
It just turns darker. Okay.
Okay. Either way, Croker straightens up. He says, looking in your eye, one of his eyes is glowing very, very blue, and he says, "I have always given you my most effective work, Captain. I will
I know.
speak with Vopri."
I know. Continue, and we may survive. Vopri, do we have on record any form of design schematics, or do you still have the sensor logs from the passive scans and maybe slightly more active scans you took of the other ship?
I took surreptitious scans with Mr. Korg's help. We have well, is there anything you are particularly looking for, Captain?
The worst spot to drop a photon torpedo into their ship. Coordinate with Croker. I want you to pinpoint where that would be, where the most damage would be done. And then if and when the enemy ship gets within transporter range, I need you to coordinate with Croker to find that spot and target it for the transporters as efficiently and quickly as possible.
Okay, okay, Captain. Vopri will shrink a little bit at Croker's last grunt. I will set to work. We will find something.
Yes, we are always efficient. And he steps over to Vopri and leans over him to start messing with the panels.
Great.
Okay.
I've pissed him off. Wonderful. I've pissed off the guy that I'm relying on. Wonderful.
Yep. Apologies for
You do that a lot.
The story of my fucking life.
Had a mysterious error there crop up for a moment. Anyway, with that out of the way, yes, Croker will start talking with Vopri. If you want to do anything more to set the tone of that interaction, that is, of course, your prerogative there, Ray.
I always want to interact with Vopri, but I never actually know what to say. I definitely would like to assist in any scans made.
Copy that.
And by that I mean I want Betty to assist with any scans made, as she's the one that does scanning.
Fair enough. Well, we can make a scene of it. We can run some fluff. I think that the last time that they ran that Vopri and Azek had the chance to run a scan, they were reasonably successful, but they were very narrow in what they were looking at, and B, they also experienced a complication that prevented them from getting a complete look at everything. So those are
Okay.
yeah. I will tell you that from the looks of things, it seemed as though there were some unusual radiation signatures, basically, from around the like around the warp pods, the nacelles that came under the like on the underside of the ship. A detonation near there is always generally bad news. It would certainly incapacitate anyone that is out to pursue you.
Okay. Also, do we know what class of ship this was, like specifically, or
Yes,
any idea?
the ship in question was a Korok class, also known as the D6D class. It is, I'd say, a roughly, by this time it's probably 8 years old as far as designs go. Um, the sort of latest iteration on the mainstay Klingon battlecruiser. Um, for a little visual reference, I can show you our fun promotional images here. Let's see. Where did I leave that image, incidentally? Um, Here it is. So, for your benefit and for those in the audience here, uh, the big one overlooking your scout vessel was the class of ship that you were dealing with from last time.
Yeah, I can see it right there.
Yep. So
Right.
they were having
There we
issue
go.
with the
Oh.
pods here.
What a nice place to put a bomb.
Okay.
What a nice place to put a
The
bomb.
yeah, there are other. I mean, obviously there are other useful places. The neck, the bridge dome, those are bad. If you can get it inside the ship and put it in the engine room, that's that's pretty bad too.
Right. Am I still
What?
on? Sorry. Right, but normally with the reason the Klingon ships have those long booms is to I put it in the Discord chat, is to prevent boarding actions and mutinies from being able to get into the bridge module by limiting access points. Putting it right behind the bridge module might not be bad.
All right. So what if we put the one we're transporting right behind the bridge model, and we just transport grenades to the other sections?
You are presently out of grenades.
We already used
Damn
it
it!
in our
You
previous
beamed
Why did we
all of
do
your
that?
crates. Will might
God,
have
we're
one.
stupid. Oh. God,
It was
of course,
for a
Woe would
special
might have one.
occasion.
It was. I get it, but crap.
We'll
Do we
get
have any more
lit-
dead bodies lying around?
I'm
As
sure
far as
there
I-
are corpses.
Wait, I thought we spaced
Okay.
them.
Yeah, they were spaced.
Okay,
Yes,
They were stripped in space.
I retract my statement.
Damn it.
You have no corpses.
What about the one that got
Stripped
stabbed?
all of them down to like the skin. He even stripped any useful pieces of skin off of them. You know, that's what he did.
Oh dear.
Wait, what?
Oh,
We didn't
it just gets hotter
we
by the
took
second.
skin too?
Okay.
Oh my god.
Only if it's useful.
Somebody might need a graft.
Oh,
Hey,
dear.
identifying tattoos or anything like that, you can copy those and sell them later.
Ew.
Hey, that's definitely Zional looking out for Zional, and maybe to an extent Zional looking out for Cressek.
Oh,
Also, I can't help but think of Repo the Genetic Opera. Zional's going full repo man here.
Oh God.
I
We need beers for later.
I'm sure.
I will out myself now. I love that movie so much. It's great. It is the most fun I have ever had with a rock opera, and it is easily the favorite thing I have ever seen Paris Hilton associated with. You bring together the likes of Paris Hilton, Anthony Stewart Head, what's their face? Oh jeez, I don't remember who the main villain is played by. Paul Sorvino. It's
Oh God.
it's spectacular. But that
It sounds
is
I've seen it
deliciously.
once,
It sounds
years
deliciously
ago.
horrible.
it's
Oh, but anything with a little glass vial is deliciously horrible.
yes.
Says the man who plays the criminologist in my local Rocky Horror Picture Show. So
Oh,
Very good. Anyway, yes. All tangents aside, you have no corpses. You have maybe a single grenade. I'll also first get us back up to the bridge where the scene is actually taking place. Um, Vopri, whilst looking over the sensors with you, um, as I imagine Croker is speculating and I don't know. Would you say that Betty is also pondering the lethal places to put it, or is she just like coming out to assist with the scan every so often? Are you still there, Ray?
shit. Sorry, was muted. Yeah, Betty and Crooker kind of have a not quite telepathy, but they kind of do.
They're
So
finishing each
she
other's
is
sandwiches.
exactly. Thank you so much. I'm so hungry. But yeah, they're kind of in their own head, and every now and then you hear, Crooker mumble something, and Betty go, "Oh, it's okay, sweetie, it's okay." And it does draw attention to the fact that it's not entirely what they're focusing on right now.
Mm.
But yeah, she
I
is involved.
I should say, Crocker, or uh, I'm sorry. Is there someone else in there?
Betty kind of her face projects but sideways, so it just this weird fucking shit while he's looking straight forward at the panel. My name's Betty, sweetheart. How old are you? You don't look like you're old enough to be here. Did they feed you? Are you well fed?
I am 31 years old, by the reckoning of my
Oh.
plan.
Well, my apologies. I did not know that. She quickly tries to exit that awkward social situation she just made.
Somehow,
She
somehow, Croker just seems to be getting scarier and scarier.
I like the idea of Oprah having said that out loud.
In any case, it will be difficult to affect this transporter plan. To assure most efficiency and beaming, we would need to be within an optimal range of closer to 70 to 50,000 kilometers in distance, by which time their sensors would most likely see us. Beaming at any further distance would make it more difficult, with the additional problem of the fact the nebula will interfere with our targeting sensors.
Well, I don't want us to be in that position. She pops back out to talk to him. That would be also. You talk really funny. Are you sure you're okay? You got some vitamin deficiency or something? Anyway, sorry. She she kind of projects onto the panel in front of them. What would you suggest? Kirker, can you think of anything? And he's just very stupidly not thinking of anything at all. You're right. Dead there. Okay.
Mr. Vopry, do we have anything we can misdirect with? Is there anything we can get the focus off of us?
Mm, This ship is not equipped with probes or small craft of any sort.
Well, that is disappointing. We could have married into better. Of course. Okay. Hmm.
Yep.
Is the captain still in the room?
Yeah, but busy pacing.
Yep. And I'm sure he will proceed to.
Captain?
Oh, good.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you have something you want to do with it, so I'd say go for it. Otherwise, like at the end of the exchange here, which may still wind up being largely inconclusive, we'll switch back to Raldar and Woe working on the mines.
Okay. Captain, Mr. Bahan, or whatever you are over there, y'all want to come and help solve this problem instead of leaving it all up to us three geniuses?
What problem?
Vopry, would you please show the captain our situation?
Captain, the transporter mine situation may prove difficult, at least as a primary attack. The ship would not. We will have extensive difficulty affecting a transporter beam through nebular interference and at far enough distance as to not be detected.
Oh no! You have misunderstood. This is not a primary method of attack. This
This is our last resort.
a 100% desperation attack.
Oh, well, we can work with that.
This is going
It's not
under
a
the
big deal.
assumption that they have cornered us, they are threatening us, they are demanding our surrender. They're right on
Okay,
top.
all
They
right.
are right on top of us. We have one last knife to slip into their throat when they're not looking.
All right, all right.
This
Okay.
is not a primary attack. This is a end of the day attack.
Mm. All right, well, then I don't see any issues here.
Oh, okay. We shall try. And Vopry's just going to hunch down and try to focus in on the work as much as he can.
Who put Vopry clean water enjoyer on this?
That's just been there
The
for a
only
while.
person who can.
A man of sophistication and taste, that's for sure. That is for dang sure.
Oh my god, I just saw it.
Oh, I love when it hits at different times for different people.
Vopry and
Any,
Cressek are kindred spirits.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's because Vopry can't stand blood wine.
Well, while while some of you are hammering out the transporters, we are back to work with Raldar and Woe in the Theater of the Mind, aka our torpedo bay. You have been taking in deliveries from the torpedoes at this point. Dekoth has been wheeling in some extra torpedoes from the forward magazine so that you can start modifying those as well. But you are also working through the backlog in the from the aft torpedoes, so that will still take you another task to roll here. Go ahead and give me another roll with control and security, or engineering rather.
Shall we harvest another momentum for this?
Do it.
If
I'll
you
stand.
Yes,
like.
do it, please.
All
Awesome.
right, are you leading or am I leading this time?
I think it's going to be same test. It's probably best if I lead again.
Yep, it is.
Yes, thank you.
it is a difficulty 2 task. Oh, also, it occurs to me I did make one error from the earlier roll. The work track would only actually be 9 right now because there was 1 resistance. So it's 9 instead of 10. I apologize for my error there.
I
You
see.
could just
It's
let the
fine.
10 stand because of that
Ugh.
fantastic roll.
Oh, thank God for
We're still
Roldar.
good. We're still good. That means
We're
what's the
fine.
difficulty? Difficulty's 2 now, so we get that momentum back. Is that correct?
You do get that momentum back, and Raldar may once again roll his challenge dice.
Hell yeah.
All right, that is another 3, 4, 5 successes. If you want to put that momentum back out there, you could always re-roll the remaining zeros in the pool.
Would you like to do that?
Do it, do it, do it, do it.
Sounds like
Yes.
we want it. All right.
All right, so just reduce. All right, very good.
Perfect.
Cool.
So that'll add 1 additional effect. That would put a total of 6. That would be enough to do 5 work on the track. I am once again going to award the progression effect on the
Yeah.
work track. So yeah, well, Raldar is pulling components from these torpedoes. It's less a science and more an art in some ways, or like he is so methodical about this that you could have sworn that this was his usual Tuesday sort of work.
You're very adept with your hands, considering how god-awful large they are.
Well, when you have to rig enough bombs and explosives by hand like this, you get used to it real fast.
I can imagine so. You're quite the formidable opponent. She smiles, all teeth.
Thank you. I had to
I-
be.
Now back to business, my turn. Bugger, marry, kill. Captain, Cressek, or Vopri?
Bugger, marry, kill. Hmm. Kill the captain.
Ah,
Easy, can totally see it.
damn.
You
Honestly,
needed
that's a sign of respect, though, right?
Bugger Cressek. Marry Vopri.
These are all very good choices. Applaud you, sir. You hear a little clap.
to be fair, almost everyone has probably picked Mary Vopri at one point or another on the show.
It's logical, okay?
Indeed,
Hmm.
indeed. Let's see. So, I
The rapidity at which he came up with the idea of killing the captain, however, I find slightly disturbing.
I mean, you are dealing with a Klingon ship. It is natural.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah. So,
Remember how long it took for us to kill the last captain?
Shut
Was
up.
it like day 2?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant how long the actual fight took.
Hey, you're a quick shot.
so with that, you continue working away at the torpedoes. Elsewhere, there is things are a little more idle, particularly for the ship's doctor, Cressek, who finds himself in sickbay with no artificial life signatures to replicate, with the one member of the crew who is presently incapacitated stuck in a stasis pod, and left with nothing else really aside from numerous empty canisters of stimulant that with every drag of his foot he kicks through another.
I think we lost Cheesy again, just as a heads up.
Oh no. Let's
Our plans ruined. Our day destroyed.
He did apologize. It is the kids. He'll be back
Yep.
shortly.
That's okay. It gives me a moment to have a coughing fit because I'm having quite a few of those. Thankfully, I am keeping them off mic. One moment.
Oh, you too are also.
Hey, you too.
Yeah.
How generous.
I, I thankfully I can say it at least is not, or rather, there's not any worse illness that has triggered it, but just it is unfortunate. Incidentally, let's see. While I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to post the updated work track for us. So that is a total of 17 points on the work track with 2 out of 3 breakthroughs. The difficulty when Woe and Raldar attempt the next task will be 1 on their control and engineering task. So let's see. Other than that, well, first let me move the camera onto a better shot here for sickbay. So it's just a little bit low. There, let's see how that looks in the viewer. Perfect. Yeah. I will say, for those of you in
I'm
the
back.
audience, oh good, welcome back. Um, we are going to update the sickbay set at some point. Engineering had been my latest accomplishment there, but I have plans to fix this one too. So anyway, just to reset the scene there, Cressek was lumbering back into sickbay. He has no part to play in the preparation, at least, for the mine-related ambushes that the captain has in mind, and just finds himself trudging into a sickbay, empty save for Traven, who remains in a stasis pod, and he drags his feet along each time hitting an empty stimulant canister, which more often than not has been applied to himself. Even with that, he drags and lumbers on at a lower energy than would be ideal. Perhaps that sense of age weighing you down.
I walk over to the stasis pod, put my hand on it. Maybe I'll be in the right spot this time. And I turn and I sit down on one of the bio beds. I ensure that all the monitoring devices are properly set up on me. And I pull out a small aerosol canister. And inside that canister, you see, inside the clear part of that canister, you see a very familiar looking moss, algae, perhaps,
Yeah.
from another planet, that first planet that we visited. And I make sure I'm all properly strapped in, and I spray myself with the canister.
With the time that you've taken to cultivate this particular object, the potency is, well, it is everything that you had hoped for, Cressek, as it extremely vividly the world around you seems to blend and meld. It's almost seamless, quite frankly. As seamless as, and with that seamlessness, you find yourself in a different time, a different world, a very different place, and the unpleasant words, not good enough.
Listen, I am working on this. The gestation in host bodies is proving troublesome.
if we do not have this on a fast enough basis, it could jeopardize various war plans against the interlopers.
I walk up to him. If you can find a more qualified doctor, I am more than willing to step aside. However, I think you will find them lacking. I will provide results. It is what I have always done. It is what I will always do.
You had best do so, Doctor. Your position, it is earned with some renown. But do not think that makes you or those you work with indispensable.
No one is indispensable. I know this well, Clathus.
I shall be back for a later report. General Gantha is undoubtedly curious as to what you come up with.
I'm sure he is.
And Clathis is drawn up to your height. You can stand unencumbered in this room as you would any room in your lab, Cressek.
And I think that's the first moment where I remember that this is just a memory. Is when I stand and I can stand.
Indeed. You find a way to separate yourself from those, to tell yourself that the familiar smells of, well, truly the absence of them compared to a Klingon ship, are that of better conforms to your lab. That although you feel the particular material meant to that you would have worn in your more traditional lab coat wear is not truly there, and that you are in the tunic that you are more usually taken to wearing. And then there are, of course, other figures. Some you wish were no longer here, or no longer around in general, and others perhaps that you wish otherwise. As Clathis turns and leaves you to your lab, you look amongst the various components there, seeing like large vats with various subjects' computers pondering the different intermixes of reptilian DNA from the various species of Gorn. And of course, you find a familiar face.
It's all going to work. It's all going to work. It does. It always does. Every time. It always works.
And
I head over to where Esteth is.
Yep.
Well, classic military treatment, wouldn't you say?
Of course, my man. We can't expect anything less.
How are your projects coming? I know that there were some promise made in the subdermal gestation processes. I still think a intravenous gestation would be better, but you were better at that side of things.
It may be my specialty, but of course, without you, where would I be today?
You would probably be leading this thing instead of me bumbling about while you do great strides under my name.
I wouldn't say it's under your name. It's under our name. We have
True.
our roles. You bumble, I keep you on your toes.
That you do. That you do. I wanted to run an idea past you, dear.
I am intrigued. Please do go on.
Good. And I walk over and I grab a piece of paper, mammalian leather bound book that I use to store all of my important findings. And I just start to write out information. Theoretical scenario. Patient with a, shall we say, growing project inside their body, similar to what we are working on, is placed into terminal condition. Under these circumstances, we need to save the gestating creature, of course, but also the host body in order for the creature to continue to grow and thrive and become what it is meant to be. With this information, and I pass I just hand the book to her. How would you recommend we proceed?
Let's see. In this hypothetical, is the body repairing itself naturally?
It is too damaged to repair itself fast enough for the rate of decay.
I'm also going on the assumption that extraction is probably impossible.
Both subjects would perish.
Is the gestated life form injured?
No, but it cannot survive outside of the host yet.
In your findings, it seems as though they are codependent.
Yes, similar to what we have working here. That's, of course, why I am providing this scenario to you in case this were to happen in the field.
Does the gestated life form have its own healing abilities, so to speak, its own regenerative properties?
Yes.
It may be a bit outlandish, of course, my dear, but what about making it possible for the body to be asleep, but to wake up the being inside?
to allow it to heal while the body can stay asleep and recuperate from its damages.
Parasitic life form, realizing it needs its host body to survive, and therefore jump-starting it, so to speak, for a crude analogy.
Yes.
Risky.
I believe might be the right choice.
Well, if I am here, then this version, this memory, yes, I suppose that would be the only possible solution, wouldn't it? Anything else and we risk damaging both while trying to save both. But letting one suffer so the other works to heal it. That is insane. But brilliant. As always, Esteth.
What can I say? When I'm working with you, I could be as enlightened as any being in the galaxy.
It was good seeing you again, Esteth. You have helped in more ways than you know.
She's going to
But
run her hand across his face. Never
he's
use
just going,
past tense.
go ahead, sorry.
Never use past tense, my dear. I could be on the other side of the galaxy. I could be on another plane of existence. But I'll always be here with you, and I'll always help you whenever you need me.
He's going to grab her hand. And yet, none of that is real. None of this is real. You're dead. I let you die. I let everything go. But now I can save someone who needs it. So thank you. I'll see you again someday. And the allotted time period has passed, and the chelating agent is pushed into his system, and he jerks himself out of this memory.
Yeah. As sure, Cressek, as you knew the hand that you could feel was not there, and as sure as you could not have saved her, you know that there is someone here that you can help. Tell me, just as a point of clarification, that leather-bound book, does that happen to be open and very near you?
Yes, it's the book that I keep everything journaled down in, all my important information.
Indeed. I imagine that it has something a little less conventional in mind.
As I look at all of that, I nod. And I look again at the stasis tank. We're going to make this work. We have to. Together. And I start transferring the information that I have in the book into the computers.
As you set to work with a new task and purpose set ahead, the other part of our crew is setting to finish their own work. Raldar, Woe, the two of you have been working your way through each of these torpedoes. In both cases, working steadily after you've fallen into a rhythm. Adjusting the targeting sensors and avionics in order to properly function, as sensors for the minefield. You've been linking some together for that bigger burst, and you've been making sure that the exhaust system will properly nudge the torpedo into a nearer location when it engages or detects the battle cruiser on close approach. However, you still have one more control and engineering, or security, if you choose to change the discipline. You have one more of those roles to do, and it will be done at a difficulty of 1.
It's been the momentum and power game this.
I got
Yeah,
you.
probably.
Truly unhinge it.
Raldar goes mad with power. And
Meanwhile, Woe's demeanor has completely changed, and she is sad for no reason.
David!
Law of conservation of
emotion.
or optimism, I suppose. No, sadly, Woe had the tears and popcorn aside for Cressek's trip, I guess. Anyway,
She don't even know why. She wasn't there. She's just
yeah.
like, what the fuck? I am so sad.
Yep.
I feel a presence in the sadness.
Yep.
Oh God.
Is Woe too sad to roll?
No, Woe can roll.
Oh,
Jesus.
she will fix the torpedoes, just not very enthusiastically.
What was actually an empath?
Woe is trying very hard to get through this. Because goddamn.
Woe is she.
Think about all those Klingon families we're ruining.
Yeah, Woe did about what we expected.
Woe did exactly what Woe was gonna do.
It was
but that's 2 momentum, right?
Yep, you do still get 2 momentum with Raldar's roll there. So yeah, that will be enough to give you a couple momentum back.
All right.
And with that, you also, let's see, that is 3, 4, around 3, 5, 6, 7. With the progression 1 effect in play. I'm also going to say, well, I don't think we actually need to add triumphant to that, but we could anyway.
Just add all the modifiers at this point because we completed the task anyways.
Yeah.
All of the positive modifiers.
Well, the only properly brewed ones, at least as far as, or rather the properly published ones, courtesy of the core rulebook. Go ahead.
I mean, we can throw down a fucking momentum to just get rid of the resistance, and then it'll just be all dandy.
I don't think it really matters at this point. We've done over 5 points for the last breakthrough.
Yeah.
So we win.
Yeah. Between a good roll and the excellent role play, I'm inclined to just let you keep the 2 momentum you get off of that. And yeah, Cressek, you rig up the sensors, pull out some
Cressek.
You're stealing my comment.
Raldar. Sorry. I admit,
we don't all look alike.
Racist comment.
I don't see the difference between Gorn when I'm wearing my tactical shields.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I guess I need to write flashbacks now. God damn it! Fine.
I'm sure they'd be entertaining. I encourage you to do so, Raldar. It'll be some powerful role play. Um, everybody, feel free to do that at your leisure.
Who
Anyway,
wants to be a child?
yeah. Anyway, Raldar, you swap out components, tweak the sensors on the last torpedoes, and you have them all rigged up now. You have, in record time, managed to put together, or rather, modify your photon torpedoes, virtually the entire arsenal, and set them up as basically proximity mines.
Oh, fantastic work, well done.
Okay. See how it is. First time doing this against Imperials, but you know what? I'm sure it'll be fine.
You know, why not? Sounds like a blast to me. Come on.
Yeah.
There we go.
The fireworks will be great.
Uh-huh. She's still trying to shake off the weird goddamn mood that overtook her for no reason. She, really quick, she kind of gives them a nudge. I imagine they're relatively close on the floor, because I imagine they're having to sit on the floor to do this shit.
Indeed, so.
Yeah. Why don't you ever bring, like, the ship? Is he still locked up in that room?
I'm getting them exposed. I was gonna start doing more stuff after this job, but we sort of been delayed.
Yeah. And one thing after the other.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain he won't cause more damage when I let him out.
Just be nice to him.
Yeah. I think he understands more words now.
Yeah. Maybe we could hang out sometime.
Sure, I don't mind. Got
All right then.
plenty of time.
This is, I think, the first time Woe's actually tried to befriend Raldar, so big moment for her. Okay. Well, should we get on the old ring-a-ling with the captain?
Yeah.
Tell him we're good to go. All
I
right.
might be able to strong arm him for more booze for this one.
Mm.
Azek would undoubtedly want to get in on this and particularly convince the captain of the need for cup holders at all stations.
Everyone
At all
it's a
stages.
I'm looking out.
Everyone. Oh my god.
That's a hard no right there. Sorry.
Computer activate emergency cup holders.
Oh, you can't be the Elvis of cup holders.
It's that bit from Star Trek Insurrection where the joystick comes out, but instead it's cup holders. So anyway, yes, Raldar, you are able, or Woe, depending on which one of you gets to the communications panel first, you are able to tap a large scaly thumb or furry claw onto the bridge button.
I assume Woe is more limber.
I think she just has better reach in general.
Yeah.
That
What
too.
was that?
I was just agreeing a little bit, probably.
Yeah. Captain, this is Woe.
Go ahead.
We've completed the task, sir. Everything's ready to go when you are.
Excellent. Are you ready to start dropping them?
Oh yeah, these babies are ready to be dropped.
Did you also manage to get the one ready for the transporter room?
As far as I know, we've done that, we rather.
That one was the easiest.
I would have hoped
Just
so.
Yeah.
All right. Azek. I know you're not here, but I'm only pretending. Azek, plot us an interesting course, minimum propulsion, and we can start dropping these off. I don't want a straight line. I want it to look like we're trying to lose them in the mists.
Sure thing, Captain. I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and switch this over to our tactical viewer. And Azek will thumb through the GM screen and change it over so that you're going to want to zoom out for this one, Captain. Here, let me take care of you.
Piss Nebula, what we've all been waiting for.
Exactly.
Looks like split pea soup.
Yep, and it's as thick as it, but it doesn't taste like it.
Ugh.
Does it taste like Gok Pockets?
Ah.
Sorry, somebody had to do it. Somebody had to do it.
Yes.
With Joe not here, someone had to do it.
Nobody had to. You woke up this morning and you chose violence.
I mean,
It's a Klingon campaign.
Yeah, and
I wake up every Friday, every Wednesday, and choose violence.
exactly. Truer words were never said. Matter of fact, that should be the quote for the game today. That's every Wednesday we wake up and we choose violence. That'll go on the social media at some point, which I would tag right now, or rather I would use the commands for it, but Stream Elements is probably still down. Nope, it's working now. Damn it. Okay. So, yeah, as you can see, Captain, obviously we've got a number of zones out here that we could start planting our landmines here, or rather space mines. Sorry, I'm used to mines being on planets instead of space. Anyway, we've got a number of different places that we could actually stash these mines. I'd say that since, let's see, he scratches his forehead, his ridged forehead with his one arm. I'm trying to remember here. So we have like a few torpedoes that are going to be together for the last gasp. Shields are down, transporters are somehow still working, and we're close enough to shove it down their throats option. Was that right?
we've got
I thought
some
we
that
only
are,
had one of those.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Or was it one torpedo, or was that a bunch of torpedoes clustered together into one big
There's
thing?
one torpedo.
No, we have
No,
one
no, no.
torpedo
First
in the
set, first one they go upon is 4. We disobeyed captain's orders for that one, and then the one we send is into their ship is 1.
Okay, so you made one cluster of 4 torpedoes as one big kaboom, huh?
Yes, it was the
The rest
first
of them
one
you all
because we
did as
figured their shields might be down, and then we figured they wouldn't fall for the same trick 6 times.
Hmm.
So we shortened it to like 3 or 4.
How many mines do we have?
Well, running the maths.
Sounds like we have about a half dozen mines.
Oh, let's see. If we had 22 mines and we had 4 connected for for the big boomer, and then 1 torpedo mine in the transporter bay, then that would be 5 out of the total that we were going to deploy, leaving us with 17 torpedoes, which I'll round up and say we could deploy then. We could deploy basically 6 minefields. Right, so we could declare 6 of these zones as mined, basically.
All right.
Now, just for record, Captain, because I was the one looking at the navigation screen and you weren't, and you might be confused here. I'll add some nuance here, which obviously, however we deploy the minefield, that'll account for. But basically, our course came in right about this way.
Okay.
Or for those on for those that can see it, we came in. Oop, set it to the right thing. Came in about this way, and oh boy, that doesn't come over
We
very
only
well, does it?
traveled 59 feet.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm sorry. There's a bit of a bug in the computer system. I'd better
It
set.
can't do calicams.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, acceptable.
I mean, it could, but I just honestly, it's a little joke I was pulling on Vopri. You got
Oh
me.
my god.
Okay, so assuming they're going to follow us as we came through, follow the same course, because why wouldn't they? That first space, how do I make it so it pings? What the heck do I gotta do?
You click and hold when you have the mouse set to the cursor option.
Right. There is where I want the one with the big kaboom. Because I would assume they would simply follow us in. So there. That's for the big kaboom. And we have how many more we can set up?
You
Did
may
you say?
you may declare, I believe, 6 other zones with a minefield.
Yeah. Have you noted the first one with the big kaboom?
I have indeed been placing information in my GM layer to reflect that.
Okay.
It's going to start looking like Minesweeper so far as my screen goes.
So we have 5 more.
No, I believe that I gave you 6. I gave you 6 different ones, accounting for the big kaboom going off somewhere else.
Okay, so we have a total of 6 plus the big kaboom.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, big kaboom is there. All right, I want one here. Did you see?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm putting things down. So the big kaboom. Then it was this zone here.
That one.
Okay.
This one.
Okay.
One.
Copy.
That one.
Okay.
That one.
Okay. And the last one.
The last one. Don't have one here yet, do I?
No, you do not.
Oh, there.
Okay.
And of course, they are not. We didn't rig them to go off on us, right?
Indeed not.
Okay.
The time for the mine laying will be such that it will take a bit of time for the proximity fuse to go ahead and set off. So let's see. Just placing them around now. Okay. The folks on stream may not see this one, but I am going to I'm going to click one more time just to make sure I have them. So I have locations on the lower end in these 2 locations. I think there was also one here. and then the upper left quadrant. Does that look accurate to you?
Where are you?
We saw nothing.
We saw
Okay.
nothing in the.
All right, let me
Yeah,
set
which
it
one?
to object layer. So, are you seeing that now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Just wanted to make sure I had that right.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So, Azek says, "All right, well, we'll start getting these torpedoes out. I guess that's gonna have to be me and Bahan here, given that well, we've got a complex task. Did you know, Captain, the Utopia Planitia book by Modiphius actually details mine laying rules? It's a heck of a
Kill 'em.
thing." Yeah. In addition to all the frames that those Earthers use in their Starfleet, it supplies you rules for building your own ship, different sort of mission seeds, and ways to build interesting stories, and ways to customize your ship, particularly use of weapons. And they even invented a mine laying set specific to that one. So this actually, of all things, it's a weird one where um, mine laying is a control and con task assisted by the ship's computers and security. It's difficulty 0, but the task doesn't generate momentum. Instead, all of those successes go into the difficulty for an opposed task by a ship that enters it. So the higher we score, the worse off they are trying to avoid a mine.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's actually pretty cool.
When a ship moves into close range of a minefield, their con officer has to oppose with a control and con roll assisted by the ship's sensors and security, which, that means that because they are entering this nebula, it increases in difficulty by 2 because it is a class 2 nebula. Exactly, Vopry. So with all that, it's going to make a heck of a task here. You know, I think that since I'm being puppeted by the GM right now, and I'm also awful thirsty, I don't think I should take the lead role on this one. Bahan, you beautiful son of a bitch, how do you want to take this on? Or son of a targ, that's what it would be.
Control and con?
Control and con, yeah. I'll even assist you, and so will the ship.
Wait, question.
Yo.
Would the captain assist since he's the one that called out the positions?
You know what? That's a compelling argument. I'm happy to sit back on this one and let the players roll their things. So, Captain, we will treat this as a direct assist. This would be your, I'm going to say, I think control and command make the most sense here.
Control and command?
Yes.
Or control?
May I apply my computer focus?
Do it.
Or my astrophysics?
Do it.
I feel like, well, technically the ship's computers are being used directly for this task, so yeah, computers, I'll let that apply.
Hey.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm assisting.
Yes,
Is
you
what
are
I'm doing?
assisting. You are assisting with control and command. We'll let you come up to the. We can role play this out and say that Tabak comes into close proximity as Azek and Bahan navigate. Bahan will take the lead role, and if you want to give everyone on the audience who can view this one more set of pings so they can see where the torpedo mines are being deployed, then I will let you do that, basically.
Oh no, you can go ahead and do that because at this point I don't remember where I put them
Fair enough.
because I don't have any way on my screen to mark that unless I pull out a Sharpie and put dots on the screen.
Very well.
I would rather you not do that.
Big flex.
I would too because I couldn't get that off the screen at that point.
Well, if you just want to, as we go, role play this out and say, give us Steady, steady, release. I don't know, some sort of thing there. I don't know. Do
Big
as you will.
Boomus.
At the very least, I will ask you for those rolls. So once again, for the lead mind laying, that is control plus con from Bahan, control plus command assisting from Tabak, and the ship's computers and security for anyone who is willing to roll the on.
All right, why don't you just move the ship into each
God.
one of those areas
Oh,
so
no.
we can do it? Oh crap!
Oh, no. Hey, we got momentum, right? We got that.
You do have momentum.
Yeah, we got a lot of momentum.
Let me go check
Okay.
out those rules that you posted earlier.
Yeah, so let's see. Let me ask, what would be the order that you want to replace those? What would be the order that you want to place the mines? Do you want to go Big Boomer first or the smaller fields?
What's the order, Captain?
You're closest to a small location.
Yeah, we should probably just go from where we are and just move us to the next one, and that's where we'll try that one.
Okay.
And we're gonna drop a momentum and re-roll that, please, Train.
Well, let's see.
Bahan.
Bahan, do you have a value for our Nausicaa navigator?
Not yet.
He's being activated though, isn't he?
I believe I did attribute and discipline. I increased something over there.
Yeah.
He
I
has a
will.
directive though, right?
There
From
is a
Captain?
directive, yes, and there additionally. Oh, I may not have updated the list since then, but you do have essentially dictates or directives for this particular mission. Uh, Avoid capture by the Imperial fleet, avoid discovery of the Khad incident, and Durkir must survive and remain aboard the On. Those are your mission directives as they currently stand. So you could instead invoke one of those, Bahan, and that way spend your determination.
I think the best one would be to not get captured. I feel like that's very applicable here.
I would be inclined to agree with you, so yep, I will allow you to re-roll those. If you want to wait, we can see what the ship rolls first, and if it doesn't succeed, then you could re-roll the ship as well. Would somebody care to
But he
get
rolled a complication.
Yes, and
I have the ship pulled up, but I don't remember what I was supposed to roll.
computers plus security.
Okay. So sensors and because I don't see. Oh, there is
Computers.
computer. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I was like, wait.
You're fine, Ray. Okay, so you're invoking your directive just to re-roll those zeros there.
Yeah.
Craven reroll. Don't give us more, please.
Come on, I did so good. I broke everybody's heart today. Give me this.
You gave us so much already.
And
Yes.
okay, so minefield number 1, that is going to be a difficulty 4.
Wolf.
Okay, I'm just noting these now. All right. Let's see. All right. Mine's away, Captain. And
Good.
yep, a little bit of time will elapse as Azek fires up the thrusters and maneuvers you around. He will, with your permission, maybe give the occasional burst of impulse power so as you can move around the nebula a little quicker. Nothing to betray your position for too long.
And nothing to use up power.
Yes.
Okay.
Barely like 1/8 impulse, basically. I will also say for our purposes, Kelshaw is steadily restoring power while everything else is being done.
We had discussed that, and that was one of the things that was supposed to be happening.
Yeah. Now I may as well ask here, just because we've so as to minimize the rolls, because it would be a lot to have you roll 6 times for a minefield. Although I like the variable difficulty idea of that. Do you want to just treat the difficulty 4 roll for all of the minefields? This would be the GM
Yes.
being extra nice. I would probably ask you for 2 momentum to constitute the
I'm okay with that.
advantage.
To
Okay,
create the
yeah.
advantage. Create the advantage, basically.
Yes. Okay. The one roll I will have you make then would be deployment of the big mine. So,
Yep.
I stretched the ship.
Wee! Stretchy ship.
The
Alright.
ground doesn't bend that way.
Do you want another momentum for a third die on this one? So we can make it biggest of boomers?
Yes.
Please.
Done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes!
All right, that is 4 successes from the combination of Bahan's roll and from Tabak there. The
Nothing
ship
from the
does
ship.
not offer an additional success, but does not complicate, so that still means it is a base difficulty of 4, and oh man, that does of course mean it's going to be a difficulty 6 roll in order to avoid that mine.
And now I want us to be here.
All right. Let's see. I think just because it is funny, I am going to have Azek roll here, and I'm going to say, "Don't you worry, Captain. I'll have us right over there in just a moment. Let me give this a go."
I hate you.
I
And he
swear to
actually does.
God.
And he
Oh my
actually
god,
does.
isn't it? Oh my god.
Theon just does the equivalent of a moonwalk. It doesn't even like turn in a proper direction. It just moves over there.
Do we get any momentum for that? It's the real important question.
Not from any of the mine laying tasks, and for
No.
what's his face for Azek, I was just rolling for the japes. I wanted to see
Okay,
if a
just checking.
complication would result. Yeah. So in the
So it's difficult. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
base, well, I mean, technically, I could have set this to where you had to navigate through your own mines, but I figured Azek remembered the way around them, or like had a rough idea of the zone where they are not, and thus would have the presence of mind to avoid it. So, before we get into this, let me ask: does anybody have another scene that they would like to have here? Either on the bridge or elsewhere on the ship. Does any character feel like they would like a moment?
We cut
Ooh,
to
I had
Traven
one, but give me a second.
bubbling in the tube. Just bubbling.
Yep.
Blur.
And that was his scene.
Yep. He's having some. He's having himself a ghost nap a moment with whomever is the bane of Traven's existence from his past life.
Vegeta.
Oh god.
Vegeta.
Go play with your balls somewhere else.
You are saying.
Are we there yet?
I am shutting this down. We're not going down this route.
Yeah. Well,
The only other thing that I would want to do is once we get into position, just shut everything down to bare minimum, but keep everything powered up enough so that we can punch it if we need to.
copy that. Copy that. So power it.
I mean, they did put little power systems on board the mines, correct? That was part of what we had discussed to maybe make them investigate.
Yeah, they will give off their own sort of energy signature.
I had a
So
question.
you may ask.
Rev. Would Zionol have felt that little telepathic thing that
That
Wo
whole
did?
thing, we were supposed to have that scene at some point in time.
I know.
And then we kind of got waylaid with, everybody almost dying several times over.
Yeah, we're probably still not going to get to have that scene
Nope.
unless we do it right this minute. But
True.
just curious as to whether or not Zinal was like, that was inconvenient, or whatever the shit he would have had reaction to that.
He had a massive splitting headache for a bit.
Okay.
All right.
Just so you know, if you want to pursue that, let me know. If not, we can wait until later.
I think we're still on battle station mode. I don't think Woe would want to approach Zinal of all people
Why did our
in the
ship
middle
just
of this right
disappear?
now.
Mr. GM.
Did it
Our ship
disappear?
disappeared. Our ship cloaked. We have cloak?
We don't have cloak.
When did we get a cloaking device?
Oh dear, let's...
Nope, there we are.
Sorry, you blinked out of existence because God forgot about you.
Aw.
No. Wow, that's
That-
scary.
That's not bad for a Klingon, though.
Klingons have no gods. We killed
Exactly.
them because they were more trouble
Exactly.
than they were worth.
Exactly. That's
And
probably why. They probably forgot where they were.
and look at where I've gotten you guys. So, all right. So let's see here. I guess we will. So we will give Woe and Zional that moment later if they so wish. But let's see. I am going to make one ruling here. So there is one pertinent part of mine laying rules that will come into play for this. For the most part, mines are actually generally one stress low. They cause one stress lower in terms of their base damage compared to their torpedo counterparts, as they are typically meant to be a smaller explosive. I think
But
that
we use torpedoes.
yes, but you also had to pull things out of a lot of the torpedoes. So, for consistency's sake, I will rule that while your regular minefields do inflict one less stress, your big torpedo bundle there is going to have +2 stress to its
Nice.
normal level. So that would actually be 5 points of stress. All right. So, um, I guess with that, everybody starts moving to their relevant battle stations. I'll quickly put it back on the bridge for a moment, and we'll start moving around some tokens here. So let's see. Woe and Koth will be at weapons. Croker is in the transporter room minding a very big torpedo. Kelshaw and Raldar are at their stations in the they are at their stations in the engine room, trying to squeeze a little bit more power out of the engines. And everyone
Or
else
into the engine.
into yes. In any case, everyone is set to their duties and preparing for what is to be an inevitable encounter with the Chikros. And let's see. I'm going to perform one roll here before we start. For as time elapses, you have eventually you have had a moment to wait and you have had a moment to allow for the ship to what am I thinking of? You've had some time to basically sit for a little bit of time whilst the mines were deployed. I'd say something on the order of maybe you might have had a little less than a half hour, which combined with the amount of time it took you to deploy the mines, it's probably gotten a little bit later in the day. A long shift and with duties fully with duties fully absorbing your time. Uh, you are all on just a you've had a little more time to stress, and a little bit more time to wait and see what they do. And there is, for a time, relative silence, and I know exactly how I am filtering in that complication that the crew just rolled. But after a moment, Captain,
Nice.
since our signature ion disruption, I believe an impulse penetration of the nebula.
Can you give me a general fix?
Attempting to now, Captain. Location. Location is near 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 our point of entry.
Good.
Captain, they will be approaching primary mine cluster. Well, the largest mine cluster in a moment, and at 5 successes on that particular roll,
It's still not enough.
they beat you on the first mine.
They needed 6.
So you need 6 because the +2 difficulty.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Oh, thank God.
Hold up, Mr. GM.
Allow me. Actually, one moment. Let me check and make sure that the successes are right, because I realized I needed to roll that was that was not the engines and con to roll for that entry into the nebula. That was sensors plus security. Okay, so they would still get the critical success. There is, however, one other problem. The Korok class has a homebrewed talent, Advanced Tactical Sensors, which is basically the advanced sensor talent, but made a tad more Klingon. So with that, they actually reduce the difficulty by 1, which means they do.
I think you just made that up.
You're trying to
You,
pull me up?
you want to see you want to see this character sheet? I will open it up for you.
No, that's fine. You're the GM. You're allowed to make stuff up anyway. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Can we we have only 2 momentum. Can we take away one of their successes with our momentum?
You could always create an advantage with them.
Will it take both?
It does
It
cost
will.
2 momentum. Yes.
But it would also increase the difficulty. Basically, we could create an advantage that would increase the difficulty by 1, so we could still make this thing go off.
Then that's what we're gonna do.
So what was our advantage that we made, Captain?
Captain,
How did we drop these mines to create this advantage?
But the advantage is, well, that's unexpected. Why would anybody be dropping photon torpedoes as mines? Who the hell does that?
So the elements of surprise is your
The element of
advantage.
the element is well, no, the advantage is, why would they even bother scanning for mines? For all they know, it's just a tiny chunk of metal or rock floating in the nebula. They're not looking for mines.
Who knows? Their new captain might just suck.
That too. An
Experienced captain?
An inexperienced officer, because all of their head officers are dead.
So the new so basically, whomever is sensors officer and probably was not victorious in the challenge, or may have even been a replacement, starts to give word to something small on sensors, and the current CO asks, "Is it the ship?" And when they say no, it's like, "Then keep scanning and going." And like, they know that it is a problem, and that is about to be a big problem, but the new CO is too much of a hothead driven by revenge. Is that kind of the flavor I'm getting with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could have been that, or you could have just transmitted an order for the torpedo to go off surreptitiously. But that works too. So I will allow for that to hit then. Uh, so you can imagine, if you will, on the bridge of that ship, that same sensor officer being told basically to ignore it, and then in uh, like in a mere moment after that, to see a further energy signature as that object
5,
closes the
4,
distance.
3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
And go ahead and roll me damage for the big photon mine, as you should see it in the sheet on the yawn.
Scroll. Big photon mine. Here we go.
Big photon mines are, in fact, my favorite photon mines. Never mind.
Come on.
You have no momentum to spend on that. You may give me a point of threat if you wish to re-roll those zeros.
Oh yeah, you need more.
Do it.
Honestly,
Go ahead.
though,
Go ahead. Have
yeah,
another one.
do
What
it.
the hell? At this point, what's it matter?
All right.
for those,
do you mean?
do it.
We need them to suffer.
Okay. I'll.
All right, so 3 challenge dice.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah,
That's better.
That's better.
Yep. So with that weight,
And that's
that
with
was
2
3,
effects.
4,
I like
5. Yep. Well, strictly speaking, the torpedoes don't have an effect. High yield is just a quality. But as the jury-rigged mine closes the distance, on your sensors, you see a large energy discharge as a clustered antimatter warhead propels into the D6, and I dare say there's a slight even feel of a shockwave from your distance as that torpedo goes off.
Sir, big kaboom detected.
There was a kaboom, a hopefully ship-shattering kaboom, and we'll find out if that ship in fact broke up next time on Star Trek Adventures
Beautiful.
Broken Sword.
Beautiful. No. I can picture it. Like it's an episode. Ship flies in. Sir, we're picking up something. Is it them? No. Well, then keep scanning. Tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
Go to the bridge. Go to our bridge as we're sitting there pacing or whatever, and go back to them. Little thing. Boom. To be continued.
Yep.
What's going to happen is next week.
Yeah.
It's
What's going to
the
happen next week is there'll be the review, and then it'll go to the kaboom, and then
Yep.
while the explosion is there, the other ship will come flying right through the explosion.
yep.
We'll get the and now the continuation.
Yep. It's the BSG style nuke hits the ship. Everything's just engulfed in light as far as you can see, and that's where it caps off. So we will go ahead and cut the recording here. Thank you all for joining us. For those that are catching on the archive, this is where we will leave you. If you want to catch a future stream, then we air these live on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Feel free to drop us a follow either here in the archive or on Twitch, and that's another way you can get notifications when we go live. Until then, hopla, and have a good one.